This video is getting a lot of attention after people have debated whether or not this woman is correct when she says if she's going to go with a guy, he's got to spend at least $200 minimum. Tristan Tate was tweeting about it, and he said, she's right. And people are giving him flack for this. And he's like, no way. And I've seen a bunch of other guys actually point out she is correct. And I will say it right now, dude. If you think it is simping because because this woman says she wants a minimum of $200 spent on a date. Sorry. I mean, like, I feel like, I guess the argument is it is an incel perspective to agree with this woman when it's actually the other way around. I don't like using that word. It's a stupid word, but the general idea is like, you're a weak man if you're going to give this woman $200 or whatever. Actually, the other way around. And I'll explain, right? The guys that are telling her she's wrong, I feel like are taking this progressive worldview of like, we have to be equals and we don't got to spend money and all that. And it's like, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, progressives. I'm hoping I can piss literally everybody off with this one. I like traditional gender roles to a certain degree. You know what I mean? And so I think this woman is correct. But let me play the video for you so you can hear what she says, and then we'll have this discussion because it's like I'm just seeing it pop up all over the place, and it's important to break this down. Here you go. Oh, sorry. I always do this with the audio. You know, I bet everyone watching was like, Tim's got the audio set wrong. Yes, that is correct. I do.
What's the most a man should spend on a first date?
I feel like if I'm going to get ready and I'm going to use all my products to come out with you, I need like a minimum of $200. A minimum, and that's like being nice.
And what does the man get in return for that?
My presence?
What, aren't you having his presence within you already?
I hear you, but no. No. I mean, like, I'm here to get to know you. I'm here to get to know you. You invited me out.
But he has to drop $200.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
minimum.
Because
just because you have to do your makeup.
Because I have to. Okay, so we're gonna do the math. My moisturizer is $400. My eye cream is $300. My serum is like another $300. My makeup, not included. So if I have to spend, that's my money. I'm spending my money on these products. I'm going to use these products.
Who are you using them for, though?
For myself.
Okay.
But I'm going to use these products and I'm going to show up because it's not like I'm going to show up in sweats.
The man doesn't owe you anything if you're just getting to know each other.
If you're inviting me out, you owe me a date.
So this is really, really funny. She's totally correct. The first thing I'm going to say, it's all about the kind of person you're interested in being with. I mean, there might be some guys who are just like, I'm not all about that. And so then, okay, but that's always allowed. And so some people have pointed out it's not good or bad, it's neutral. No. Or they said she's not right or wrong. It's like a neutral thing where some people like it, some people don't. No, she is right. She is right. Let me explain. If you want to go on a date with a woman, let's take the conservative perspective on this one. Women don't work. No, I'm talking like 100 years ago. A man wants to take a woman out to a nice dinner at a local diner or restaurant or something like this. 100 years ago, traditional gender roles. The woman is going to put in effort to be beautiful, to be attractive, to be worthy of this man's hard work. So what do women do? Dude, you ever watch how women would dress back in the day when everybody wore like suits? It's crazy. It took like an hour to get dressed, multiple layers. It's super crazy. It really is. So this is part of traditional gender roles. And I'm not saying you need to maintain them or like all the feminists are going to get mad now. Like literally, this woman spends a lot on a big wardrobe. Guys, jeans and t-shirts. Don't get me wrong. Like Tristan Tate made a video about this. Like I got a nice tailored suit and he was like, and I look good, exercise, but it takes me like 4 minutes to get ready. Let's approach this from a modern perspective. Women do a lot to get ready to go out. They spend a lot more time than guys do. There's effort involved in that. And if you want to live in the world where men and women split the bill, by all means, that's your thing. You're allowed to do it. For what she's explaining, she's talking about a man trying to court her, and she's saying he should spend at least $200. She didn't say outright she's spending nothing either. He didn't, I do think she says like he's got to spend that or whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. My point is this. $200 on a night out with a person. Let's say you go to the movies. Let's say you're going to do dinner and a movie, and then afterwards something nice. Let's say it's like a 3-pronged date. The first thing you do is you have dinner. Let's say it's around 5 or 6. Then you go see a movie from, 7 to 9. And then at 9, you're going to go down to the pier and ride the Ferris wheel, and you wrap it up by 10 or 11 or something like this. $200 easy. Inflation, baby. So my question is, for the people who are saying she's wrong, should women pay for dinner? Look, I think if you're dating a feminist and that's the world you live in, you can split the bill. That's fine. I think if you're dating a person who's adamant about taking care of themselves, by all means, that's all you. But if we're talking about traditional gender roles, and I don't mean abject and absolute, I mean just like the modern dating era. If you want a woman like her, who's going to buy a nice dress, who's going to get face cream and moisturizer and her hair done, it is so much more money than the guy is spending. No, for real. That outfit she's wearing is probably more expensive than it needs to be, but women have a bigger wardrobe. Why? They are trying to present themselves to be attractive, to be better, right? So men build up their skills. They go and work. Women try to be attractive and beautiful and all that stuff. Feminists can argue they don't like it, but this is what the really interesting thing is to me about this. That there's a lot of people on the right who are like, you're a simp. I said the woman is correct, and I got responses, you're a simp. I'm a simp because I think women who try to, I think this woman is correct when she says she should try to be attractive for her man, and her man should provide for her. That's simping? Yo, that's like conservatism. The dude goes and punches bricks all day or whatever it is men do with their time. I'm being somewhat silly. Let's go back in. Guy goes and hunts wild boar, running through the fields, getting cut up, and he's covered in sweat and grease. And then he throws, the spear and stabs the boar and slays the beast and drags its body back and throws it covered in sweat, all nasty. That's a lot of hard work. And he presents that savage hunt, the trophy, to the other men. Look at the beast that I have captured. They cheer him on. And the women who are like, he can provide for my family. And what do the women do? Smear berries on their faces, try to look more attractive and appealing to try and be the best, the most beautiful. That's like the absolute traditional gender role. And that still exists today. The idea that there are people on the right arguing that she's wrong, it's like, well, what do you want her to do? Like she said, throw on sweats, show up, no makeup, whatever. If that's your thing, that's your thing. That's okay. But for her, she's trying to attract a higher status man who appreciates the things she does. I'm not saying all high status men want women like her. Not true. That's the world she lives in. If she's going to put in the effort to be beautiful and the man is going to put in the hard work to make good money, then she expects the money she spends on herself and the efforts she takes to be attractive to be met in kind by a man who is going to work hard to have the funds to be something for her, like to meet that level. There's a documentary I recommend everybody watch called The Science of Sex. I think it was on HBO like 20 years ago or something. But they had a bunch of men, they had 10 men and women go into a room, and then they had them rate the other men and women. And sure enough, the men who were like conventionally attractive typically were given an 8 or a 9, and it went down. Like the guy who was short and frumpy and chubby was given like a 4 or a 5. And the tall, chiseled guy with styled hair was given a, higher rating. That was physical attraction. But then, and here's what they did. They brought these things out to the street and they asked people on the street randomly. Here's a picture of a guy. How would you rate him on a scale of 1 to 10? Surprise, surprise. On average, their test subjects and random members of the public typically agreed. The guy who was considered a 9, like nobody was a 10, but the guy who was a 9, who was like tall and bright smile and chiseled chin and all that. They asked him on the street, like, oh, he's like an 8 or a 9. And they were like, surprise, surprise. Here's what they did next. For women, men almost completely agreed. They then took the picture of the man who was a 9 and they gave them a biography, a bio. In it, they said that he was the manager at a local theater, making something like $35,000 a year. And what happened? The women were like, he's like a 7. He's like a good 7, maybe a 6. This attractive guy that they thought was a 9, once they found out what he did for a living, went down. I'm not surprised by that, and I'm not angry about it. That's what they found. And when they took the guy who got rated a 4 and said he was a software engineer who made $500,000 a year, he went up to a 6. Dude, it is not bad that women find men of means and status to be attractive. It's like the weirdest thing ever. So if a young woman says, I want a man who can spend $200 on our first date because of the effort I put in, imagine a guy who says, I'm going to spend $200 on a first date. I want a beautiful woman. Are we going to get mad about that? No, but you expect a beautiful woman to put in effort to like, I mean, women are going to shave. She's going to put on makeup. She's going to go tanning. Whatever it is you're into, she is going to try to be attractive for you. And she expects a man of means to comply with that. So the other thing that happened in this show was they put numbers on everyone's heads at random, 1 through 10. They told all the men in one room, your goal is to pair up with the highest number possible. That's it. And what happened? Guy who's got the 1 goes in the room. And what do? Everyone immediately goes to the woman who has the 10. And she's like, no, I'm not interested. And then what happens? She sees the guy with the 9 and she's like, I want you. And the guy with they don't know what their own number is. So all she sees is a guy with a high number. And she's like, you want to partner up? He sees 10 and he goes, definitely. When the guy with the 7 goes, you want to partner up? She goes, not interested. It was that simple. What did they find? It was almost 1 for 1. The 6 and the 7s paired up, the 10s and the 10s paired up. The 10s, because everyone immediately went for the 10. The 10s were just like, you're a 10, I'm in. She's like, you're a 10, I'm in. Let's go. Paired up. And then it was like the 1 and 2, and like there was a little mix, but mostly 1s with 1s, 2s with 2s, 3s with 3s. That's what it is. This woman puts the effort in to make herself beautiful. She says, here's my set of standards. I want a guy who can pay $200. Now, if you're a guy who wants a woman as beautiful as this, if you're saying she is beautiful, you see her and you want her, and you're like, I can't afford that. Welcome to reality in life. Here's what you can do. Improve yourself. Like I already mentioned, you can be a frumpy, chubby guy who's called a 4 by most women, but once they see that wallet, you bump up to a 6. It is possible. Not only that, you can get in shape. There's a lot of people who are like, if you're short, you're doomed. Not true, man. You can be short and you can be a millionaire and have the most beautiful woman in the world. And I take issue with the people who are like, women are shallow and vapid and gold diggers. I'm like, no. Those exist. But it is unfair to criticize a woman because she prioritizes status, means, and wealth. That is humanity. Women looking for strong men and men looking for beautiful women. It's not absolute. It's not always. But I have tremendous respect for the nature of humanity. If a woman finds a guy who's frumpy, chubby, and ugly and is worth millions of dollars, and she's in a relationship with him, I think it's stupid to call her a gold digger. I think that's just so stupid. She might even be like, yeah, he's kind of ugly, but man, can he provide? And I'm like, that's what men do. And then when she knows that when she's going to have a family, she's going to be secure. Now, I think it's fair to say it's not absolute. Men want smart women. This is a fact. They really do. Women think that men want dumb women. That's not true. They look at some of these dating websites because OkCupid put this one out. Excuse me. That the reason why 22 is considered like the best time. So men find younger women more attractive, but won't date women under 22. And the reason is ignorance, lack of wisdom and intelligence. This is actually found in the data. Men think 22 is a good point at which the woman is attractive and young, but has worldly experience and can be self-sufficient. But that's why it's 22 and not 30. Certainly you're older when you get, older and wiser isn't always true, but it typically is. But it's because guys don't prioritize the ability of women to solve problems and make money, but they do require that to a certain degree. For women, it's inverted. Women do consider the genetics of the man. Is it going to be tall? Are our kids going to be healthy and happy? But can he provide? Because you can find the best and most beautiful man in the world, dumb as a box of rocks, and you're thinking like, we might have good looking kids, but we're going to be starving the whole time. I don't take issue with this. You know what I mean? You got to navigate this world and figure out what makes sense for you. And so I think this was a great video because people are ragging on the woman. They're calling her like names and stuff. I'm like, she's right. If you want to live in a progressive world where everyone's equal and all that stuff, like more power to you, man. I got no beef. But I live in a world where I recognize that everybody is trying to trade and barter. And what's the saying? You can't choose the cards you're dealt, but you can play them right. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. You might be an unattractive guy. So what do? Well, you get in shape you get a good job, you sharpen your skills, and you maximize wherever you can maximize. So that there may be a woman who's like, this guy's a little too short for me, kind of ugly, but he's a genius and he's super rich. And so what does she think? You know, I don't know if I want kids who are going to be short. Real thing that people are thinking. But then she goes, but man, he's a hard worker. He's very successful. And that means the kids are going to have a great dad. We're going to want for nothing. And I might have beautiful kids who are going to be tall and chiseled, but they'll starve to death. I might have kids with him, and those kids are going to be smart, hardworking, brilliant. You see the point? Because being in shape matters a lot too. There are things you can't change, but there are things you can maximize. And so that's what I recommend everybody do. In the meantime, I say she's right. It's not perfect, but whatever. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.